This is 25-year-old Italo Brett Bonini, and he was Madeline Soto's choir teacher. And we recently discussed his arrest, which was made by the FBI after he had enticed two known victims online. They were around the ages of 8 and 6, and he was pretending to be a 16-year-old boy on Discord. Please note that this content is for educational purposes and for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. More details available in the description box. So, we discussed it and we re-listened to his police audio interview about Madeline Soto's disappearance. And we also looked at his Facebook page, which I actually want to show you again quickly because it is odd. People pointed this out in the comments section, and yes, I do find it quite odd that he said the following. Madeline is still missing as of this afternoon. If you have any information that could be of any help, please contact Crimeline or myself and it will be relayed to the proper authorities. Let's bring it home. Why does he say, or myself? That is so inappropriate. And now, given the context that we have, that he is actually a predator, an online groomer, that's even worse. Contact Crimeline or myself, and it'll be relayed. If you go and watch the original episode, the video that I did on this case, the arrest of Italo Brett Bonini, you will hear that he had also texted with Jen Soto the day that Madeline didn't show up for school. She had actually messaged him. So I know people are speculating there. I understand why people are speculating there of like, so how close was Jen Soto with this choir teacher, Stephan Sterns? Because the reason people ask this is because we know that people like this have networks to share pictures with each other. And it's absolutely horrifying and disgusting. Now today what we're going to do is look at an update in this case. We're going to see what the FBI has said, which includes them saying that there's up to 20 victims. And we're going to look at his modus operandi based on a court document that I've redacted quite a bit so that I can read it to you without, and there's no other way to say it, feeding the pedos. Because when you speak about cases like this, one has to be very careful that you're not actually attracting people that really get off on this type of stuff. There's just no other way to say it, you know? And so I've redacted quite a bit of it, but I'm going to be reading it to you so that you can see the timeline. How did they catch this guy? How do they know about him, right? Okay, so first, let's just look at a quick update. So again, if you haven't seen the original video, go and check that out, and then this will be a follow-up conversation. By the way, my name is Grizzly K. This is Grizzly True Crime. If you haven't subscribed yet, please remember it's 100% free. You just got to click the subscribe button. You can turn notifications on if you want to receive updates from when I am talking about all these various cases. As you know, we've deep dived Madeline Soto's case, and we are awaiting that predator to go to trial. His trial is supposed to be starting on February 24th of 2025 for CSAM related charges. But of course, his defense has made a ton of filings, even more. We've discussed some of them already. There are going to be videos coming up very soon where I'm discussing even more of them. And we'll keep following the case to see, well, is the trial date going to be shifted? Because I think it will be. He's also got a second trial coming up, which is for the first-degree murder charges relating to Madeline Soto's death. And so, again, if you haven't heard about that case, which I'm sure if you're here and you found this video, I'm pretty sure you know about it, but if not, just check out the playlist and you'll find everything there. I've got police video interviews for you, audio interviews, some with commentary, some without. I try to offer both versions so that, you know, you can pick what suits you best. Okay, so first, let's just look at a little update of where this case stands right now, and then we'll look at the document.
Here at Hunters Creek Middle School, we spoke to several parents who refused to be on camera, but told News 6 that their biggest concern is the privacy of their children and their safety. Roblox allows users to chat and trade and send virtual money. While these features can enhance the gaming experience, they also open doors for potential predators. In response to the arrests, Orange County Public Schools said that Bonini will not return to school during the investigation.
This individual will not be returning to school during the investigation. Please be assured that we take all allegations very seriously, as the safety of our students and staff is always my top priority.
So, Orange County, Florida. Italo Brett Bonini, a former Orange County music teacher, will remain in jail after a federal judge said on Monday that she was extremely disturbed after hearing new details involving his recent arrest relating to enticing children to perform sex acts online. During a Monday detention hearing at the U.S. Middle District Federal Courthouse, prosecutors revealed new details through an FBI task force agent with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office who gave testimony on the accusation. Bonini, 25, was a music teacher at Hunters Creek Middle School, and he offered, this is where it really gets scary, he offered private music lessons that were directed at kids ages 6 and up, the agent shared. The agent said when Bonini was caught, he told investigators that he was disgusted with himself, and he also told them that he liked talking to kids because he could control them. When trying to get evidence from Discord about Bonini's online chats, Discord produced 700 chats. Based on the Discord information, the agent learned that Bonini approached the chats the same way. He would immediately ask the kids their age. He would apparently show off his and then entice kids to show theirs and would offer them video game currency. It was at this point that Bonini's mom, who was also in court, started crying. That must be a lot for his mother to process, right? That my son did what? And to see that evidence in a courtroom. Other notes from WESH2 reporter Paulo Tristan Arruda, who was present at the hearing, and we do appreciate inside information from the courtroom, said, and we like bullet points, the agent testified that based on the information, what Bonini told them, what was in the affidavits and criminal complaints, he used the name Adrian on Discord, said he was 16 years old, and said he lived in Georgia. Whole fake persona. 25-year-old man doing this. Bonini chatted with the 8-year-old victim on January 12th of 2025 and told him to move somewhere more private to video chat. The FBI is in the process of identifying about 20 victims as they continue to review Discord info from Bonini. They still need to review his electronics, and I am just horrified to think about what's on his electronics at his home because they had a search warrant for his house. Can you imagine? Because these types of guys, they collect things, right? So they said the agent also stated that the mother of a student at Hunters Creek Middle School is coming with her child because she has concerns. That student also took private lessons with Bonini. The defense then called up Bonini's aunt, Dr. Zada Brett, to testify. She offered her place if Bonini were to be released. The defense asked for house arrest. But federal prosecutors argued that the aunt lives near 2 schools, so that's a hell no. Prosecutors added that Bonini knew the victims' ages and had access to children through private lessons and his regular job at the school. Prosecutors also argued that the defendant admitted to being able to reset the Wi-Fi in his own home and is tech savvy. Does that make someone tech savvy? Or they're not saying it together. Resetting the Wi-Fi, but okay, and he's tech savvy and creepy. Okay, which means he could do the same thing at his aunt's house, even if she says that he won't have access to the internet. Prosecutors also added that the defendant could be removed from the US based on his immigration status, so that's interesting. I'm not too sure where he's from. I can see from his Facebook page that he can speak Spanish. I don't know if he's from Spain, from South America, I don't know. But that's interesting as well. So now, let's deep dive the document so that we can follow the timeline of the FBI arrest of this guy. Before we dive into this 10-page document, I'd like to thank Grizzly Cat for finding me this document. I really appreciate it. If you want to buy her a coffee, her link is in the description box. Please know that our mods at Grizzly True Crime have a Buy Me a Coffee link. I have a Buy Me a Coffee link, and Grizzly Cat has one. So just make sure that you're sending the coffees to the right person, because sometimes people mix them up a little bit, right? So then we transfer them to each other. But it would be better if you send the coffees to exactly who you're intending to send it to. Also, I have a question before we deep dive this. I want to know from you in the comments section. Do you like seeing the document on screen, or do you prefer it if I were to print it out or have it on a tablet and just read it to you and discuss it without it being on screen? For me personally, I like to read along. This is why I do it like this, but I just want to know. What do you prefer? Okay, so This is United States District Court for the Middle District of Florida, United States of America versus Italo Brett Bonini. Criminal complaint. Let's just see if there's a date on there. Yes, sorry, let me just do it like this. So that was filed on 2/5/25, so the 5th of Feb of 2025, right? Criminal complaint. I, the complainant in this case, state that the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. On or about the dates of January 12th of 2025 in the county of Orange, in the Middle District of Florida, the defendants violated that code, which is coercion or enticement of a minor using a facility of interstate commerce. The criminal complaint is based on these facts. See attached affidavit, and we are going to read through that. Again, please know that this comes with a trigger warning. This is about this creep. There's so many words I could say. Okay, hold me back. Enticing minors online. Okay, so if that's upsetting to you, this would be the time to just exit. Please like and share so others can learn about this information. I do think that there's very important lessons in cases like this, and that is why I share them. So, so that people know what these guys get up to, what their MO is, what they do online. Social media can be a very dangerous place, especially for children. Okay, so here we have the affidavit in support of complaint, which is obviously the person writing the affidavit qualifying themselves. They are so qualified. Okay, I'll put this document on Patreon on the free tier if you want to read it for yourself. But let's get to what you guys mostly want to know, which is the timeline. How did they catch this guy? What did he do? Right? So, probable cause statement. On February 4th of 2025, the Osceola County Sheriff's Office was contacted by the Maryland State Police in reference to a male suspect later identified as Brett Bonini. On January 18th of 2025 at approximately 8:30 p.m., Maryland State Trooper Stallings, assigned to the Maryland State Police Bel Air Barrack, was dispatched to the report of a computer crime involving 2 child victims, so CV stands for child victim, who reside in Aberdeen, Maryland. Trooper Stallings contacted the father of the child victims, AP. AP explained that CV1 created a Discord account while he was staying with his grandparents on January 12th of 2025. On January 18th of 2025, this father, AP, discovered disturbing messages in child victim 1's Discord chat. AP reviewed the chats and discovered a conversation in which a Discord user, later identified as Brett Bonini, was online soliciting AP's 8-year-old son to reveal his and engage in sexual acts. AP explained that the Discord conversation showed that Brett Bonini engaged in multiple video calls with CV1 as well. So it wasn't just talking to them, asking for images, sending images, but also video calls, which is so scary. AP spoke to CV1 and CV1 admitted to pulling his pants down and revealing to the individual, later identified as Brett Bonini, during a video call. So I'm proud of this dad for calling the police because he has probably saved, he's definitely saved a lot of children from harm. Because, I don't know, this guy's going to be in here for a long time. If convicted, he'll obviously be on the SO register. And there could be, of course, many other victims that are inspired to now come forward to say what happened to them so that he can be held accountable. Trooper Stallings also contacted the mother of the child victims as well as the 2 child victims, namely CV1, date of birth 2016, and CV2, date of birth is 2019. The mother of the CV stated that CV1 and CV2 pulled their pants down during the Discord video call. And while CV1 exposed themselves, CV2 never pulled his underwear down. When asked, CV1 confirmed. The suspect also promised, and here we go with the MO. The suspect promised CV1 and C2 or CV2 video game currency in exchange for their sexual acts. So these groomers, what they do is they connect with children on similar interests. So in this case, it was Roblox, a video game. We saw with Stephan Sterns, it was those little figurines and Pokemon cards and all sorts of things. So they connect with children in that way, but then it escalates. It gets scary where they bring in a fear factor, or they say, look what you can earn. If you do this for me, then I can give you this. And in this case, obviously, these kids would want that video game currency, right? Which I think they said was called Robux. And so off they go. Trooper Stallings then asked CV1 to describe the physical appearance of the suspect on the video call. CV1 described him as a white male with brown hair and no facial hair. CV1 stated he was 16 and a grown-up, and he has a driver's license, and he was not smiling. Now, have you seen his mugshot? Let me quickly show you. There is his mugshot. I mean, does this not look like, damn, the mask is off now? Compared to the choir teacher pictures we saw, you know, the Facebook facade, look at this guy. So when the child victim says, and he was not smiling, I can only imagine that it was this terrifying face that they saw. And as I say, there would be a fear factor involved as well, of like, oh my word, we have to do what this guy says. And normally what they do is, if they can get the children to send even one image, then after that, they really use the fear factor to say, well, if you don't do what I say next, then I'm going to tell your parents that you sent this picture to me. Or I'm going to show this picture to everyone at your school. I'm going to expose you. And then kids stay trapped in this coercive control situation from this groomer, because they're scared, which is why I think it's important to at least let kids know that they have someone to talk to if this ever happens to them, because sadly, I think it happens more often than not. Trooper Stallings read through the whole Discord chat and obtained the Discord username and user ID number for the Discord account. Multiple messages from the suspect, Brett Bonini, were observed telling the two boys to take the computer to a more private spot away from the adults. Brett Bonini made statements indicating that he had shown his to child victim 1, such as, and just listen to this, the sickening manipulation. He said, I just wish you would show yours with me. I showed mine really easily. As if that's an achievement or something, like, why do you have a problem with it? I showed mine, now you owe me. You see? Brett Bonini then asked child victim 1 multiple times to show his privates in return. Brett Bonini then offered CV1 and CV2 25,000 Robux, which is Roblox in-game currency, for the child victims to show their bodies on screen. Then Brett Bonini stated, and trigger warning, both of you pull your pants down together, these two brothers, so your peepees are out, and then I'll tell you the next instruction. Isn't that sickening? Yeah, just cuff this guy and put him away forever, so he can never harm children again. Brett Bonini continued by saying, okay, lower your cams, and then I want you both to rub things. Brett Bonini then said, good job. So now he's reassuring them that they're doing exactly as he's instructing them to. The rest of the Discord chat displayed similar conversations such as ones above. The suspect's, Brett Bonini's Discord username was, okay, and just know that that's public record. This is from a public document. I'm not sharing anything that I'm not supposed to be sharing, and that's a YouTube disclaimer. On January 28th, the Maryland State Police Bel Air Barrack notified the Harford County Child Advocacy Center about the victimization of CV1 and CV2. The investigation was assigned to Trooper Cook. Trooper Cook contacted AP and corroborated all information previously relayed to the initial responding officer. AP provided CV1's Discord account username. AP verified that he did not observe any, here they're saying the word, CP, CSAM, child SA material, so images or videos within any of CV1's or CV2's devices or applications, which was consistent with their statements that they exposed themselves during a live video chat. On January 31st of 2025, Trooper Cook authorized a search warrant for the contents of Discord account. A. Sanchez, that's not even his name as we know, his name is Italo Brett Bonini, and he was pretending to be Adrian, a 16-year-old boy from Georgia, which was judicially endorsed and served to Discord on the same day. All events occurred in Harford County, Maryland. Discord responded to the search warrant, and Trooper Cook reviewed the conversation between child victim 1 and Brett Bonini. Trooper Cook read through the whole Discord chat and obtained the Discord username and user ID number for the suspect's Discord account. Discord identified the subscriber as, and Trooper Cook reviewed multiple messages that Brett Bonini sent to child victim 1 and child victim 2. In the messages, Brett Bonini instructed child victim 1 and 2 to take the computer to a more private spot away from the adults. Brett Bonini then made statements indicating that he had shown his to child victim 1. Brett Bonini asked child victim 1 multiple times to show his in return. Brett Bonini offered child victim 1 and 2 25,000 Robux, which is Roblox in-game currency, for both child victims to show theirs on screen. Brett Bonini continued by saying, okay, lower your cams and I want you both to, as we read earlier. Brett Bonini then said, "Good job." The rest of the Discord chat displayed similar conversations, such as the one described above. Now, the identification of the subject. On February 4th of 2025, the FBI served an exigent order to Charter Communications Spectrum to obtain the subscriber of the IP address used by the suspect's account at the time the CVs, the child victims, were victimized, as well as the subscriber of the IP address used at the time that the account was set up. On February 4th of 2025, Charter Communications verified that both of the IPs were subscribed to LB at the residence of this Santa Clara address in Florida. On February 4th of 2025, an FBI agent conducted a Florida driver's and vehicle identification database check on the address of the premises. This check showed that LB resided at the premises along with Brett Bonini and 2 other significantly older males. Law enforcement queried the suspect Discord account's registered phone number through law enforcement databases, which revealed that it was registered through Verizon to Italo Brett Jr., residing at that address. Law enforcement conducted an open-source social media query of Italo Brett Jr. and observed a Facebook account listed to Italo Brett Jr., which we've looked at, who indicates on his profile that he resides in Orlando, Florida. Law enforcement reviewed a user profile photograph from the Facebook account of Italo Brett Jr. and compared it to the driver's license photograph of Brett Bonini, and both photographs depicted the same person. As set forth above, CV1 indicated that the suspect had a youthful appearance. An FBI agent reviewed the driver's license photograph of Brett Bonini, and although he's 25 years old, he nonetheless had a youthful appearance. Both the other males who reside at the premises are significantly older than Brett Bonini, so they know that that's the guy they're looking for. On February 4th of 2025, the FBI executed a search warrant at the premises. Upon arrival at the premises, FBI agents made contact with the occupants at the door of the residence and asked Brett Bonini and 2 other occupants to exit the residence as the FBI executed the federal search warrant. Concurrent with the execution of the search warrant, FBI Special Agent Michelle Langer and myself conducted a non-custodial interview with Brett Bonini, who was repeatedly informed that he was not under arrest, was free to leave, and did not have to speak with agents. But of course, he spoke. Brett Bonini confirmed during the interview that he has resided at the premises with his parents since 2001. Brett Bonini also confirmed that Charter Communications Spectrum provides internet to the premises and that the Wi-Fi password is protected. Brett Bonini stated that he owned an Apple iPhone, an iMac desktop, and an iPad. Brett Bonini further confirmed that the phone number and Discord account in the cyber tip report belonged to him. Brett Bonini also confirmed that he was the user on the Discord account with the username, which is that A Sanchez one. However, Brett Bonini stated that he recently deleted his Discord account because he was disgusted with himself. I don't really believe that. I think it's because maybe he does that regularly, thinking that he's wiping the slate clean or something to start over. I don't know. During the interview, but before discussing the details of the allegations of genders of the victims, Brett Bonini said that he was not even gay and that he fell into temptation. We read that before in that first video about this case that I made, that he fell into temptation. We're going to snark all over again. Fell into temptation, and he says that I should not have. Why are you tempted by 6 and 8-year-old boys? Fell into temptation, that's how you're going to minimize this crime? He said, I'm not a sick individual, I made a mistake. That's not a mistake, it's a crime, and it's horrifying. You abuse children. Brett Bonini then admitted that he utilized his iMac desktop to communicate with children on Discord. Brett Bonini chose to speak with children because they were easier to talk to. And he liked the control aspect of the chat with child victim 1. And then he wants to say it's just a mistake. I fell into temptation. No, you're a criminal of the worst kind. Good luck in prison. Brett Bonini admitted that he communicated with children via Discord's live chat feature, including video footage. Brett Bonini also stated that he recalled the video chat with child victim 1, and he admitted that he had asked child victim 1 to display himself on the screen, and the child victim 1 complied. So the conclusion, based on the above, there's probable cause that on or about January 12th of 2025, in the Middle District of Florida, Brett Bonini violated that U.S. code. And that was signed by Ruth Marrero, TFO, Federal Bureau of Investigation. So as one can see, children are very vulnerable online. And I find it scary that, as we know, YouTube is so PG-13 that in true crime, we sometimes obviously have to censor our words and things. 13-year-olds can have YouTube channels. They can have TikTok accounts. They can have Google accounts, Gmail, and all of that. Discord too. But sometimes if they're below the age of 13, parents also help them create Discord accounts, Instagram, Snapchat, Kik, whatever, because that's what kids do these days. The problem is that those platforms are a place where all these groomers and predators thrive. And what's really sad is that oftentimes they're pretty much like catfishing. They're pretending to be a child themselves, and children think they're connecting with other children. So that's really scary. So here's a couple of bullet points of, well, what can one do? What kind of conversation could one possibly have with children, anyone that you know in your life, whether it's a grandson or granddaughter or, your children or children that you know or whatever it is. It's like, okay, so let's just go over a couple of bullet points, right? So keeping children safe from predators involves a multifaceted approach that includes education, vigilance, I would say hypervigilance, technology use, and community involvement. So number one, talk openly about safety. I think the communication aspect is very important in today's day and age, because it's happening. Children are very vulnerable and they need to know that they can come and talk to you if it happens to them, so they don't get trapped in that coercive control, fear factor space where these people can continue to abuse and exploit them. Okay, so one bullet point, start age-appropriate conversations about personal safety, including what constitutes inappropriate behavior. I think especially online inappropriate behavior. Discuss internet safety, including not sharing personal information, recognizing inappropriate content, and understanding that not everyone online is who they claim to be. That's an important conversation to have, right? With everyone, really. Even adults, right? There's a lot of catfishing going on online. But especially children, they're so vulnerable. Teach assertiveness. Kids should know that it's okay to say no to adults when they feel uncomfortable or unsafe. Role play different scenarios where they might need to assert themselves. That is a good tip, because for me, personally, without taking anyone to trauma town, that's a big issue if kids don't know how to set boundaries, right? If nobody really taught them that, and what's safe, what's not safe, and all of that, that's a big one, to teach kids to say no effectively and to really kick ass. So while teaching about strangers, also emphasize that danger can sometimes come from people that they know, right? It's not just online as well. There's the friendly neighbor, the ice cream man. I don't know, it could be. I think these lessons are important. Predators can be family members, friends, or community members, and oftentimes they are, which is why someone like this Italo Brett Bonini is just the worst, Now, another safety tip would be, when people say monitor their online activity, and then people don't want to be like helicopter parents, but they also don't quite know how to manage that. So one way to word it would be to place computers, tablets, phones, things like that in common areas. You can use parental controls as well. You can check browsing history and also be aware of the apps and games that they use, which might have chat features, and it would be important to check on those. Like this father did in this case. If the father didn't check on it, he wouldn't know. And thankfully, the father checked on it and called the police. That was the right thing to do. The next point I've already touched on, which is encourage open communication, just so that children know, don't worry. If you've now sent a naked picture of yourself and now you're in a situation, don't be scared to come and talk to me. You can come and talk to me. Don't get trapped in that, okay? Because those predators, they often sextort these kids, threaten them, get even more content out of them. We recently spoke about a case of a hospice care doctor who was enticing minors online and instructing them to harm themselves to the point where one literally died. Her phone was on the side of the bathtub, still there. And she, trigger warning, had hung herself in the shower because he'd instructed her to. I mean, like, how devastating is that? If you missed that video, I'll link it in the description box for you as well. Another thing that one could check is if the schools where your kids are going to have policies in place for reporting and handling allegations of misconduct, and making sure that they do background screening for teachers and all that. as I said in the first video about this case, I mean, they did screen this guy. They looked, you know, the parents were saying you should look at his social media, but if you look at his social media, there's nothing really to report on. It's a facade. In this case, it's not always that way. Sometimes people really are just obviously innocent and great teachers, and there's many of those. The problem is that some of these people, like Italo Brett Bonini, operate in the same space, and you would just never know. But to at least know that yes, schools actually screen them, they do their background checks, they check them out before hiring them, because how scary to think that these people, like Italo Brett Bonini, like Stephan Sterns, they seek out job opportunities where they'll be around children all the time. They worked at Disney, they work in schools, things like that. Okay, 2 more tips. Number 1, if you see something, say something. Don't be scared to report it to the police, because you could save other children from a lot of harm. And the second one would be to teach your children that reporting is also okay, that they need to know that they can tell someone if something feels wrong, if something is wrong, that they can also do the reporting. So it's like being, justice seekers for others. Because sometimes if you feel, I don't know, in my life, I felt sometimes when I was younger, like really scared to speak up about something. But what always motivated me was to know, well, if I speak up about this, if I take leadership in this, okay, I'm going to save other people from the harm that I may have experienced, right? So that would be important to teach children as well. So those were just a few bullet points from my research. I hope that it was helpful in any small way, perhaps. Please like and share so that others can also learn about this case and what's going on and how these predators operate, because I speak about these types of cases a lot. I find it extremely concerning, especially in this like online age, right? I'm making myself sound quite old there, but you know what I mean, when it's like everybody's on the internet, kids have phones, they've got apps, they play games, and one would not think about it. Most people don't watch true crime. They're not going to think about it like, oh yeah, sure, like have Instagram, have Snapchat, have Kik, have Telegram, have Discord. Why not? That's what kids do. The problem is, who else is on there? Yeah, and kids need to know about that. So thank you so much for watching. I will keep you posted on what's happening in this case, as well as, of course, in Madeline Soto's case. I have videos coming out about that soon. So if you are not yet subscribed with notifications on, you know what to do. Leave a comment below. I look forward to reading them, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe.